Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, it is June 28th, 2022, which means we are just 3 days away from the enactment of Senate Bill 5078, or what we call the Standard Capacity Magazine Ban. Now, many of you last-minute shoppers, you know who you are, the ones that we find at the mall on Christmas Eve. Yeah, you waited until the last minute, and now you've purchased handguns, which, of course, the Standard Capacity Magazine exceeds more than 10 rounds. But wait, there's a waiting period in Washington, and now you may not get that firearm. You may not receive that firearm until after July 1st. Oh, my God, what are you going to do? So let's spend a few minutes today talking about buying a new handgun, but running out of time to get the magazines. Okay, so the issue we're talking about today is all of you last-minute shoppers who didn't heed the advice of this video right here, which gave you a 30-day advance warning that the magazine ban was going into effect, and for those of you who did not just go out and do what I did and many others did, which was buy magazine after magazine after magazine, many of which for firearms we don't even have yet. Okay. So, now you just went out and bought that Glock 19, you bought that P365 XL, sweet, nice purchase, but there's a problem, isn't there? Because in Washington State, under RCW 9.41.092, we have a mandatory waiting period. That is, from the date that you fill out your paperwork, there is a waiting period before you can take receipt of that handgun. The statute specifically states, except as otherwise provided in this chapter, and except for semi-automatic rifles under subsection 2 of this section, a licensed dealer may not deliver any firearm to a purchaser or transferee until the earlier of, okay, and again, this is for all firearms, but we're talking here about handguns, so this applies to handguns. So an FFL cannot transfer the firearm to you until one of the following two things occurs. A, the results of all background checks are known and the purchaser or transferee, 1, is not prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm under federal or state law, and 2, does not have a voluntary waiver of firearm rights currently in effect, or B, 10 business days have elapsed from the date the licensed dealer requested the background check. However, for sales and transfers of pistols, if the purchaser or transferee does not have a valid permanent Washington driver's license or state identification card, or has not been a resident of this state for the previous consecutive 90 days, then the time period in this subsection shall be extended from 10 business days to 60 days. So let's focus on the first section, because if you're a Washington State resident and you purchase a handgun, that firearm shall be transferred to you when one of these two events occurs. 1, all the background checks come back and the FFL is told you can go ahead and transfer the firearm. The other way it can happen is that 10 business days, 2 full weeks, 10 business days have elapsed. At that point, the FFL has the option of releasing or transferring the firearm to you. They are not required to under law. And this gets us to a point now where some of you have had this rub with some FFLs. There are some FFLs out there who will follow the letter of the law and say, listen, once those 10 days are up, the statute says I can release it to you on that date, I will release it to you on that date. There are other FFLs that said, listen, whether it takes 10 days, 20 days, 40 days, 60 days, it doesn't matter. We're not going to transfer the firearm to you until the background check comes back. Do they have the right to conduct their business that way? Yes, they do. Do you have the right to choose not to do business with them in the future? Yes, you do. So now the problem is you finally got off your rear end, you went out, you purchased that firearm, you just filled out the paperwork late last week, and now you realize, oh my God, I am not going to take receipt of the firearm until after July 1st. What do I do? The standard capacity magazine for this firearm is 15 rounds, 17 rounds, 12 rounds. What am I going to do? Well, this is a very simple solution, and this is what I want you guys all to know about. Go back to the FFL right now doing the paperwork and take possession of the magazines right this minute. Any magazine that you take possession of prior to July 1st is lawfully yours. They will be grandfathered in. You can possess, carry, and lawfully use that magazine until, of course, Bob Ferguson and the state legislature changes the rules once again. But in the meantime, remember that an FFL is not required to conduct a background check to give you a magazine. The firearm has been purchased by you. You've already paid the licensing fees. You've already paid the transfer fees, the taxes, everything like that. The magazines are yours. So get over to that FFL right now. Get over to that FFL sometime before July 1st. Take possession of the magazines. If you do not do that, once you take possession of that firearm after July 1st, if the standard capacity magazine was 17 rounds, that FFL cannot transfer you the firearm with the magazine. Now, they could plug the magazine to make it a 10-round magazine. They could give it to you with newer magazines that were only fit 10 rounds, or they can give it to you without the magazine. But the FFL would be violating the law. They would be transferring a high-capacity magazine after July 1st. So once again, get those magazines in your possession before July 1st. Listen, you may have more questions about the implementation of the Washington magazine ban or anything else related to your Second Amendment rights, and if you do, don't ever hesitate to contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or of course you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. Now, let's remember, part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.